A hard-fought win. How proud are you when the team gets wins like this, like tonight?
Yeah, it's very good. Really tough place to come. Really good sign. We knew that. We experienced it in the last few years. I think we've done a lot to win the game. We put a lot into it, and we had some difficulties, some giveaways in the first half and certain transitions. I think we overcome that and became much more dominant through the game. And it was against like a really good organized team, insisting, being like a hammer in a reaction. And at the end, through that and insisting, we find a way to score the goal.
Yeah, you mentioned the giveaways in the first half. There was some really good defending from them as well. They were very compact. But what do you feel it was difficult, took you time to really get going that first half?
Well, the simplicity in certain aspects with the ball, especially that we gave the ball away and allow certain transitions. Then we have to change a little bit the structure as well to facilitate certain things for us, and that gives us more fluidity as well, and then it takes time as well. Against that block, the longer it goes with a 0-0, not even if they score a goal, because they've been together for many years and they know how to adapt that. But we created some big chances as well, and we scored a few more goals. So overall, very happy.
And with Trossard scoring, how much do you feel like he's benefiting from Martinelli scoring when he has the chances and the other way around? Because the team's obviously benefiting from it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of goal scorer already very early in the season, which is great, spreading the goals and not just relying on a player to do the job. That's a big strength of us, another clean sheet, which is really good to see, so very happy.
One of the bless you, Mikel.
Bless you.
Yes, don't worry. A lot of talk around Trossard and Martinelli because they've both been delivering. They call it a good problem for the manager. How's it been for you this season? Because you've never had so many options. How's it been for you to manage the players that want more time?
A joy. Because that's what we want, to be better as a team and to have players with that mindset, state of play. And you put two examples, I can name so many. Christian, you ask him to play the last 5 minutes and he plays the best 5 minutes that he can play. And that's what we need, and very happy with that.
How did you feel about the penalty shout?
Well, the only thing I was saying, is it clear and obvious if it takes that long? That's the only thing. I just been told that it wasn't a penalty, so that's it. They made the right call. It's just I was a bit surprised with how long the process took, but they explained the reason why. So let's move on.
Fulham, before that, West Ham, Newcastle. Before the match, we were talking about these important wins against so-called bogey teams. What does it say about the process, the maturing process of this team?
Yeah, and learning from that side. At the end, you have to put it, and winning or drawing a game, sometimes it goes through very small details that today we managed better than we did a year ago, but we need to continue. It's very early.
Yeah, it's very early, and finally, still October, but the fans were obviously exciting, chanting, we're top of the league. This very time last year, you guys dropped some important points between October and November, so how important is it, even if it's still October, to hold on to that lead?
3 weeks ago, we went to Newcastle. If we lose in Newcastle, the Premier League is over. So that's the narrative, that's the demands in this league, so try your best and win as many football matches as you can. There's no secret to that.
Well done.
Thank you.
And they are certainly doing that right now, Arsenal, aren't they? Building momentum at the start of this season. And we showed you this before the game today, the equivalent fixtures from last season and how they fared in those games. They won at Manchester United, where they were held last season. That was a good start. They have dropped points against last season in that fixture at Liverpool and at home against Manchester City. But the last three tells a different story, where they lost against Newcastle and Fulham in those fixtures last season. They've won them, where they drew at Fulham last season. They lost at Fulham the season before that. They have won today. And this is what is coming up for Arsenal in this block before the next international break. Attention switches quickly to Europe. But if we just focus on the Premier League for a moment, it's Crystal Palace at home, and we know how tough they are under Oliver Glasner now. But then two away games against newly promoted sides. Burnley, who've won at home today against Leeds. Sunderland, who've won at home today, unbeaten at home still, in fact, beaten Wolves this afternoon. Is that something then they can look at those fixtures, perhaps, Jamie, and say, we could go through to the next international break winning all of those games?
You'd like to think so, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but you don't want to be disrespectful to what Crystal Palace are doing right now. They have an incredible togetherness and they're a good team, but they will be licking their lips thinking this is a big opportunity. Let's take advantage of what we've got, that momentum that we've got, keep winning games. The manager was very calm there. I thought his assessment of the game was very fair. quite unusual. It's always easier, Steve and I were just saying, when you've had a decision go against you, when you've won the game, to be quite diplomatic about it. There were times last year where I felt he overreacted on decisions. That's the worst decision I've ever seen, and statements like that are only going to make referees maybe not want to give you better decisions in the future, because subconsciously they do that, whether you like it or not. That's human nature. But I feel a bit of calmness is really important, not just from the team, but also from the manager.
Let's see it then, because we heard Bukayo Saka talking about it, and he was pretty sure that it was a penalty. Mikel Arteta's slightly different in his view. I mean, he's been told by someone that it was this challenge from Kevin. Yeah. What's your take on it? And are we seeing a clear and obvious error here?
I mean, when I first see it, I said penalty.
That was full speed. So we slow it
before
down
I even see the replay. Yeah, and again, I think from this angle here, it's a little bit inconclusive. Even when you slow it down, you're probably thinking, well, has he got the ball there? Did he get the player first?
I think we've seen enough angles to say that there is contact, but this is the key thing. If we can freeze it, Jamie, before the contact.
Take it back a little bit there.
Because this is what Bukayo Saka was saying to us, that he felt knee on knee before the touch on the ball.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Kevin's right knee just gets Bukayo. He definitely gets a touch of the ball, Kevin. We agree with that. But is it a foul beforehand, Steve?
I was surprised that it wasn't kept as given, because where VAR's gone so far and where football's gone, it's been so clinical. It's been very much black or white, no grey areas. We can clearly see here there is contact knee on knee on the player before Kevin then gets to the ball. And it's not even sort of... I know we're talking split seconds, but for me, it is so... Not from this angle, but from the other angle, it is clear that there is contact with the player before the ball. In my opinion, it should have been a penalty.
What do you think, James? Should they have stuck with the on-field decision?
If we take it the other way, it doesn't, and the referee doesn't give it, VAR would have looked at it, but I don't think they would have given it. I think they would have said he just gets enough of a touch. But like Steve says, is it enough to intervene? Is it a clear and obvious error? No, I don't think so. And that's where the disappointment will be for Bukayo. And also as a player, and you can see how he plays. He's a incredible young man. He laughed, he bristled when I asked a question about was it a foul. He definitely felt that contact first with his knee onto the thigh. Kevin made a bad decision to even try and make that challenge when it's in the box. But I think, I agree with Steve, but if it had been the other way round, it wouldn't have been given.
Just to clear up the length of time that process took.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
That was unfortunate because they weren't getting the right replays to the monitor at that time, whether it was a technical error in the VAR hub, I don't know. But the unfortunate thing was we all knew watching, but of course no one in the ground would have known. No. That's why that delay was so long, that Anthony Taylor was trying to come to the right verdict. Let's talk about Victor Gyökeres. Again, he's gone another game without a goal. That's 9 now for club and country. But was there encouragement from his general performance today, do you think?
Yeah, I think, listen, he made the same runs. He was, I wouldn't say he was involved in big spells of the games, but it's these little details here, especially more so with the finishes that he's got. The top strikers find a way. They find the back of the net. And I think at the moment, especially on these strikes that you're seeing here that are going to go on target, I think at the moment he's just happy to get a strike on target. I think the next level is a strike has to be...
This is the big chance, Dave.
This is the one where he's just leaning back on his left foot and listen, a confident player himself, he tucks that, he buries that away. But I just think at the moment, when he's getting a chance, he's just happy to just try and find an area, not like pinpoint. You look at someone like Harry Kane, he smashes that low, hard, them details that 100% goes past the keeper or makes the keeper.
Is that the difference, Jamie, between the total elite in terms of centre forwards or finishers, that ability to find a corner, especially if you're low on confidence?
Absolutely, and we talk about side net, and we talk about those. Harry Kane's a great example. Robbie Fowler, Jermaine Defoe, Thierry Henry when he used to cut inside and bend it, and they just hit. They can just visualise it hitting the side netting. Right now, he is just happy, and I think it's a really valid point to hit the target. Last year at Sporting, he'd find side nettings. It was so easy for him. Every single time he played, he felt he was going to score. At the moment, confidence is low. It's the same in any line of work. People at home probably watch you thinking, when I feel good about something, I can make the right decision. If I'd second-guess myself, which is what he's doing, it's not working his way. What I will say today, there were times when he really led the line well. At Newcastle, he didn't get his goal. He led the line well. Is he ever going to be a pretty great footballer to watch, like a Van Persie or an Henry or a Bergkamp? No. He's a battering ram.
Does he give space to others?
He does, and he's going to open up spaces because he will occupy defenders. You could see there was a good couple of battles there with Cuenca and then Bassi when he came on. He will add something to the team. Is he doing what he would? I'm sure when he gets on that bus and he gets home tonight, how will he feel he's doing? What would he give himself out of 10? He'd probably give himself a 6, 7, because that's what they do, strikers. He needs goals, because that then just shuts everybody up, goals or assists, and we are going to keep judging him because he hasn't got the goals yet. I think they will come, but he's going to be a different type of player to the Arsenal profile that they've had previously, because they've had some of the best forwards. Righty was unbelievable. He needs a bit of time.
Yeah, and it feels like he's going to get that, particularly with the injury to Kai Havertz, which is going...
Well done. Fulham was defending very compact up until you guys scored the goal. So how proud are you of getting this one done?
Very proud. I think it was a really tough game for us. I think especially first half, maybe the quality on our side wasn't there. But we kept fighting, we kept believing, and that's what we said in the dressing room at half-time as well. We only needed one chance, and luckily that went in, and after that I think we controlled the game.
Yeah, and even the corners, they weren't happening with the quality that usually does it up until your goal. So could you talk us through the goal?
Yeah, we just kept trying because we know the opponents. They try to change their shapes for us. I don't know why. But yeah, at the moment the corner is given, I see Gabi going in a duel. He heads it to the back post and I get the tab in. So I'm really pleased with that goal. And yeah, it's another one for us.
But do you feel it's been more challenging for you guys as a team to score as much from corners? Has it been more challenging?
Yeah, I think, as I said, the opponents, they try to adapt to us. And on the other hand, we try to work hard on that as well to find those solutions, and we found it again today, so we're really pleased with that. Another clean sheet as well, so that's really important, and we need to keep going like this.
And you've been having a really good season, Leandro. What do you feel has been more different? Where did you feel you progressed? Because there's a lot of attention on the right-hand side with Saka and Timber. Do you feel like you can benefit from that as well?
Yeah, obviously. I think we have so much quality in the team. If they try to double up other players, I need to try and take advantage of that. And I try to do that every single game, and to be important for the team. And I'm really happy and pleased that I could be there today as well.
Delivery again, and another important 3 points. But it took your team a while to get going tonight. Tell us what that's like when you come back from international duty, presumably not too many training sessions, but yet everybody's expecting you to hit the heights straight away.
Yeah, obviously it's a lot of expectation on us. We know that, and we didn't start the game how we expected and how we wanted to, but you know, we have the experience now to understand. We've come here a few years and, you know, not got the results that we wanted, but today we were able to turn that around and show that we can win in the end. So everyone in change, I'm so happy with that.
Does it feel like a significant victory to you, Bukayo?
Yeah, for sure. Even if it doesn't to others, it does to us. You know, this season we beat Newcastle, who we struggled against in the past away, West Ham as well, who we had problems with at home, and now Fulham away we've struggled with. So it's points that we've been picking up that in recent seasons we haven't been picking up, so we're happy with this result.
Bukayo, Jamie Redknapp, congratulations. I thought from your point of view, it was a real captain's performance today, because it wasn't easy. First 20 minutes, you had a bit of battle with Sessegnon, and you really started to come into your own, started to run the game, started to deliver great crosses and little bits of individual play. Did you get that feeling as well?
Yeah, I got the feeling. You know, it was a tough start to the game, but in my mind, it's like I just want to get the ball and, you know, make things happen. And even if I miss one, I miss two, you know, I'm going to keep going. And, you know, I grew into the game and I felt I had a good performance in the end, which I'm happy with.
Talk us about that set piece. Obviously, corners are a huge part for you. After 8 games last season, you had 3 goals from corners. This year, you've already got 7. You've got Gabriel attacking it.
Yeah, it helps. We've got some big guys in the box. And, you know, at the start of the game, I took some rubbish corners, you know. I was quite disappointed, but, you know, I kept going. And, yeah, I think this is the 4th one. And, yeah, I put it in and, you know, it was a nice delivery. Gabriel got the touch and, obviously, Leo got the goal, so I'm very happy with that. Sorry?
Why do you think you were taking rubbish corners, in your words?
Did you not see them?
Yeah, but I'm guessing you practiced this skill over and over to land it in that right spot.
Yeah, it's something we work on a lot. It's quite clear, you know, we're quite good at it. So yeah, we have high standards for ourselves, and like I said, I was happy with the ones in the end, which helped us get the goal.
Bukayo, I want to talk about the penalty incident. You looked a bit perplexed, obviously, when it was, well, given and then not given. Your face is telling me everything there. What's your feeling? Because Kevin obviously goes to, has a little nibble at you, and then you get a touch. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, for me, it's a penalty, you know. Of course, I understand he touched the ball, but I felt a big contact on my right knee, you know, before he touched the ball. And for me, any contact in the box like that is a penalty. But, you know, decision's been made. I don't want to dwell on it, you know. It's happened in the past. I don't want to dwell on it. Let's just move forward. We got the 3 points, and yeah, that's my opinion.
But Carl, I'd love to get like an insight in the training ground, in team meetings with the manager, or just even around the training ground with the players themselves. For me, I really see a different mentality to Arsenal so far this season. I see a real belief within the players that you can go and win the Premier League, especially with the quality that you've added in the summer as well. Do you see that shift, or is there a mentality shift that you can really go that one step further this season and do it?
Yeah, we believe, and the mentality is simple, you know, it's winning any context. There'll be games where we're dominating possession, there'll be games where we're struggling, the game's on top of us, you know, sometimes we might have to defend, you know, it's any context, we win. That's the mentality for us, and we showed that today, you know, we started poor, and in the end we won. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do this season, and that will help us get over the line, I think.
But I wanted to ask you, Bukayo, as well, as one of the best attacking players in the Premier League, what do you think when people say, you know, that Arsenal are where they are because they're strong defensively, or they are a defensive team? What's your take on that?
To be fair, it's fine, you know. People are always going to have their opinions. People are always going to talk. In the end, it's up to us to show it. So I don't mind. I feel like the numbers, myself, the rest of the attackers that we've got in the past or recent seasons, some of the best in the Premier League. So, like I said, people can say what they want, but in the end, we just want to win. Yeah.
You've done that job. Well done tonight. Thanks so much for talking to us, Bukayo.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Welcome back to Premier League Live, where Arsenal have just beaten Fulham by 1-0 at Craven Cottage to send them back to the top of the Premier League. A narrow win, but it could have potentially been a slightly bigger win had they been given the penalty, Righty, that was originally given on field, but then VAR saw it overturned. Did you think that this was the correct decision?
You know what, Kels, the margins we're dealing with, and we're dealing in the minutiae of like fouls and touches. And when you look at this, obviously right now it looks like, oh, that's a penalty straight off the bat. But then what we see is that we see him get a little touch on the ball. But what they should show is the contact on the knee first. And I'm talking about dealing with the margins. Now, there it is there, right? And then, you know, we're dealing with, like, when you look at this ball, look at the margins of where he touched the ball, it's the same.
Yeah.
So how can it not be a penalty for the touch on the knee, but it can be not be given for that minuscule touch on the ball? I'm confused with it now.
I guess the thing with this, though, is it a clear and obvious error as well?
Well, he's had to kick through Saka to get the ball because Saka's in full flow motion, and that knock on his knee, and however slight it is, knocks him off balance enough, and then he wins the ball. So I always thought if you kick through a player to get the ball, then it's a foul. So, but unfortunately, again,
I don't agree with the touch, how light the touch is, because that's what they're giving penalties for. Like, he's not giving that penalty for. But, like, OK, he's touched his knee there, so that's a touch.
Yeah.
Right, that's thrown him off balance. And then look at the touch on the ball.
Yeah.
Can that touch, even the slightest of touch that we're seeing there, that will have thrown him off balance?
Well, the thing about it is, it's not even a case of that. It's as he touched the man before the ball, because Saka's gone over. And that's what we're talking about. People can say, well, is it enough of a touch? It's a touch. Just like it's not a penalty because of the minute touch he's had on the ball.
Yeah, I think as well with Saka as well, and his body position, the way he's going away, his next touch is a shot. So obviously the contact knee to knee, however slight it is, knocks him off balance enough for him not to get the shot off. So it's one of them where I don't quite understand the rules, but if we're going by the margins we've seen in other games, that's a penalty.
So you're also saying that because the position he was in, it would have been preferable to him to have stayed on his feet?
Of course it would, because his next one's a shot.
Yeah.
His next one's a shot on goal.
With his favoured left foot.
Yeah, but Arsenal didn't let it deter them, did they? I know you were getting a bit nervy at that point, Brighty, but they did kind of dig in.
Yeah, they did, and the reason why you're getting nervous is because last season, especially when Liverpool were dropping points, Arsenal weren't picking points up. And we saw when Liverpool dropped points the other week and Arsenal won the game. And that's what they've got to do this season. It's something they haven't done the last couple of seasons. They've been chasing, but when they've had the opportunity to put a marker down, they haven't done it. And I think that they've done it in the last few games, especially coming off of an international break. It's a game that they had to win. You know, they've got a run of games now where they have to try and pick up points.
OK, well, a good evening for Arsenal, but not so good for Fulham. Let's now hear from their manager, Marco Silva.
What are your feelings after that? Disappointment, frustration?
Of course, when you lose a game, it's always a disappointing one. I really believe that our start of the game and our first 30 minutes, they were at very good level. We did create chances to score before Arsenal started to have some control of the game. I really believe after the 30 minutes of the game, the last 15 first half, they were more on it than ourselves. But until that moment, into chances with Harry Wilson, he should have created a score in one moment. And our first corner was a great chance for us. In my opinion, the ball was going in direction of the goal, a deflection in one player. Well prepared corner from ourselves. And of course, we knew that it's going to be easy, going to be easy. Tough team to play against. They were going to push us a little bit more, but I think we kept them away from big chances most of the time of the game.
3 defeats in a row then for Fulham. But as for Arsenal, Atletico Madrid in the week, then the Ian Wright derby on Sunday. They've got Crystal Palace in the Premier League, but it's set them up nicely, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has done. I mean, a tough performance today against Fulham. Then, again, not a welcome break, but a different mentality in terms of the Champions League. And then back to a really, really difficult game against Crystal Palace, who are absolutely flying at the minute. So it's a testing time, but I think they've got a run of fixtures now where you'd expect Arsenal to get more positive results than not.
I know they've got a few injuries at the moment, the likes of Madueke, Odegaard, of course, being out too. But do you feel like the squad is equipped now to be able to continue on this run?
Very much so now. And this is why I think that a lot of Arsenal fans are very optimistic about the chances this season, especially with the way that games have been won. In games that I mentioned that, you know, we probably didn't pick up points in and lost points when we shouldn't have. So there's a lot more confidence about Odegaard being missing, even Saka being taken off in certain games, because there's people who are coming in who can adequately fit in.
You can put your feet up and watch Liverpool tomorrow without having to worry.
I'm going to do that, I hope that they don't pick up any points.
But it's all right, because regardless of what happens tomorrow, righty, Arsenal will end the weekend at the summit of the Premier League. A reminder, Liverpool versus Manchester United is a late kick-off, and we'll have all the action for you on Premier League Live. But for tonight, it is Arsenal's evening. They have beaten Fulham by 1-0 at Craven Cottage. And look at that, Arsenal fans, you're at the top. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.